Oh, I need a coffee as well. Fuck. Oh, there's some coffee downstairs. Okay.
Do you want to go get coffee?
Nah.
Alan, John, you want to go out for a coffee with me? Ditch the podcast.
Sure.
Let's go, buddy. Okay, so we can just do an old school opening. They don't all have to be cold opens, because it is weird that we never introduce ourselves in the show anymore.
Everybody knows who we are.
That's true. We are pretty famous.
We are. Nintendo bans RCM loader. RC cars? No.
Oh, wait, I got an idea. So, Alan John, I don't understand how you don't abuse your mod powers a little bit more. You sort of have the ability to just sort of silence anybody who has anything bad to say against you. You know, somebody's like, oh, Alan John smells like poo-poo doo-doo. You're like, ban. I know you don't. You know, you're better than that. You wouldn't just randomly ban people. You know what? This cold open does not work. This cold open does not work.
Do you want to? That's the cold open. Let's just talk about the RCM loader.
Okay.
Yeah, so for those of you who don't know, Steven, could you please, just very quickly explain what the RCM loader is and what does it do?
Okay, so basically when you want to install custom firmware on your Switch, you need to put it into recovery mode, well, RCM mode, which involves shorting 2 pins on the right side of it and then hitting 2 buttons. And then you need to plug it into your computer, and that'll boot a custom firmware onto your Switch. And you need to do that every time you turn it off, basically. So the RCM loader comes with a little molded piece of plastic that is designed to short those 2 pins easier for you, because otherwise you need to bend a paper clip in a very specific way, and it's a little bit of a process. And then it also has a little thing on it you can plug into the USB-C port on your Switch, and it'll inject that payload and boot it into a custom firmware for you. And that's really all it is.
That makes sense. That makes sense. Now, what I'm reading here is that Nintendo has hit their own ban hammer on this using the power of the law against it by basically banning the selling of this RCM loader. Eric Zander, you are GBAtemp's resident lawyer officially. You're basically the official GBAtemp lawyer. It's true that if anybody, any Patreon user on GBAtemp gets in legal trouble, you can assist them for free, right? That's how it works. That's why Cassell keeps you on the site, right?
No, but thank you, but no, I'm not going to answer. Well, I guess it depends on how much they're investing into the Patreon, or how many how many epic champions they buy on Raid Shadow Legends using our code. But no, for the typical user, I don't have any attorney-client privilege with anybody.
Yeah, so tier 2 Patreon only people, so $20 and up. Sorry, guys, but Eric's got to make a living. Sorry,
that's true.
Yeah, and so I'm reading all this stuff, and it's just legal jargon for me. I don't speak legalese. Whatever DMCA stuffs were given, so it all boils down to one thing: if Nintendo does this, right, it bans the RCM loader. Are they going to ban paper clips next?
Sorry.
It's a funny joke.
That's genius, my man. You should put that in a post on the thread about this.
Yeah, they should make that front page and then put a little poll at the top saying way too far copyright law has gone. Anyway.
Yeah, and put logic in quotation marks.
Yeah. So this article was actually kind of well written. I'm not saying anything bad about that, but yeah, the poll kind of just sort of ruins it in my opinion. So here's sort of what happened. Nintendo filed a lawsuit against Lee Hon Min. I'm very sorry. I'm not going to say his name anymore. I think it's Lee. So he made the RCM loaders, sold them on Amazon. Nintendo's like, no, you can't do that. Take it down. And then they, they did the takedown request to Amazon. So then they delisted it. Then Lee did a counter DMCA. So now they were relisted. And that's okay because dude lives in Vietnam. Okay. So there's really nothing that, there's no consequences that can be had for doing that. So Nintendo decided to go to the courts and seek an injunction against him. What an injunction is it basically is saying, hey, you got to stop doing something that you're doing right now. Generally, so that's sort of a civil argument. Again, I'm a criminal defense lawyer, so I don't work in the civil sector really at all. But from what I understand is they filed this injunction, and then the person who the injunction is being sought against, saying, so the party who's like, oh, I'm not supposed to do this anymore, they're supposed to file an answer, or they're supposed to do an appearance, or they're supposed to respond in any sort of way, or else they risk getting what's called a default judgment, which basically means that the person who is seeking the injunction wins. So in very, very simple terms, Nintendo said, hey, boy, you got to stop doing this. And he said, absolutely nothing. So then the court said, well, upon looking at all of the evidence, I say that Nintendo is correct because you didn't fight anything back. So there's the default judgment. So Nintendo didn't necessarily even win on the merits as much as Nintendo's argument was the only argument to be heard. So the judge then granted the injunction. So he can no longer sell that device anymore. Let's see. It says in the final judgment that a permanent injunction is entered against defendant, its officers, agents, servants, employees, attorneys, and all other persons or entities in active concert, participation, or privity with any of these parties shall be permanently enjoined and restrained from, and then a bunch of things that they're not allowed to do. The main being that they can't sell that RCM loader anymore. Yeah, so now it's going to be much harder to obtain that particular RCM loader, not because Nintendo was necessarily right on the merits, though they might have been. Had Lee actually responded, Nintendo still likely could have won, but because he didn't respond, they just sort of won by default. That's what a default judgment is. What does it mean for all of us? I don't know. You could still use a paperclip. You know what I mean? It's this particular device that they can't sell anymore. So that's what really bugs me about the poll, because it's like, by this logic, should paperclips be illegal? Because it's like Nintendo didn't necessarily win on the merits anyway. So
I mean, it says like in the end that the injunction also applies to any and all products, services, devices, components, or parts thereof that could circumvent Nintendo's security measures. That's a very broad term. Like, I think you could apply paperclips to that. So I think Nintendo is going to end paperclips as a thing, because think about it. When's the last time you've used a paperclip?
Yesterday. I'm a lawyer.
Well, I mean, but it's not that popular anymore because everything's going digital now. You don't have that much paper, so paperclips are going to be a thing of the old, and Nintendo is definitely going to say, okay, now this is a security risk, right, for the Switch, so you should ban it. I think that's what's going to happen. This is definitely not a joke. And the thing is, this kind of reminds me back in the day with the Nintendo DS, back when the R4 came out. It was the first good flash card for the DS. It was sold everywhere in the US, and Nintendo was like, no, you can't do that. And there was a lawsuit, and R4 basically lost and disbanded and got banned. But if anybody knows, you can still buy R4 cards today, but they're not by the same team. They just have the same name, called R4i, DSi, clones, whatever, R4i Pro Gold stuff. So I think the same thing is going to happen here, because this device, honestly, I don't want to say anything bad about Mr. Lee here, but it seems to me that it's like a very simple device in terms of manufacturing. So this is going to be something done at a large scale by somebody else, by any like factory in China. So I think we're gonna see a lot of these RCM loader things pop up on sites like AliExpress and Deal Extreme and stuff like that. I think it's going to be way more prevalent there.
There's two things that distinguish it. Well, there's a lot of things, but I want to point on two things that distinguish this case from the Gary Bowser situation. The first, because some people on GBAtemp are conflating the two. The first being that in that case, the criminal case against Team Executor involved jail time. Nobody's gone to jail here. Yeah. This is a civil lawsuit. It's an injunction. That, and also the damages in this case are far less than the damages that they're seeking in the civil case over there. Here, Nintendo's seeking a grand total of $2,500 in damages. They originally requested $2,500 per violation, so per device that they sold. Oof. But then they brought it back to just $2,500. So that's sort of like what I was saying last week, where Nintendo's asking for all of this money, and then it's like they're not going to get anywhere near that much money. In this case, they were asking for thousands and thousands and thousands, because 2.5K for each violation, that's a lot of money. But now it's just 2.5K. Slap on the wrist. But also you can't sell the device.
Yeah, even I can pay that. That's like nothing. Especially for Nintendo. Like, do they really need that 2.5K that much? I think their lawyer fees are way more than that.
That's just this is different than the Gary Bowser situation, but no, Nintendo's greedy. Nintendo's being greedy. They're so greedy. I hate Nintendo.
The thing is, any other company would be doing this.
But Nintendo bad. That's why I ethically pirate their games, because Nintendo is bad. And they make me pay for games that are expensive. And also, they now make me pay to play games online.
Oh my God, what a perfect segue. You know what company doesn't require that anymore, at least for free-to-play games? That's right, it's Microsoft. Because recently they announced that Xbox Live, you don't need it, really, if you're playing stuff like Fortnite or Warframe or Team Fortress 2, I don't know. What other free-to-play games exist on the Xbox?
Roblox?
Minecraft.
I don't think Minecraft is free-to-play.
Anyways, so yeah, this is a good thing. This is a good thing. I think we need to clap and actually applaud Microsoft for doing something good. Like, really, no joke. Admittedly, they're the ones who started the trend of paying for online, which to me is still so absurd. It doesn't make sense to me at all. I'm a PC gamer. If somebody told me I need to pay a monthly subscription to play Counter-Strike, no, that's not happening. It's so stupid. But console players are okay with that, and then Sony jumped to the ship as well and started doing the same. And Nintendo, of course, and their online is admittedly the best.
It's not.
So they're at least worth the money, because you get like what, a free NES game?
Yeah, sometimes
every
you get
month?
more than one.
Dude, nice.
Yeah, so what should be noted, because some people seem to have not realized this either, because they're like, haha, your move, Sony. And it's like, Sony hasn't required you to pay for PlayStation Plus for free-to-play games ever, or maybe did they used to? I don't know if they used to.
Not that I remember, but certainly for at least a few years they haven't.
Yeah, so it's like, haha, Sony, you're losing now. It's like, no, not really. Not in this front anyway. I mean, clearly, well, maybe not clearly, but the general consensus is that Xbox's online services in their games and their subscription service is a better value than PlayStation Now or PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, but don't you get like free games with PlayStation Now?
You can call them free.
Well, you can stream and download games with PlayStation Now, same as you can with the Game Pass. Well, you can't stream them with Game Pass, actually. Not yet, but it's basically Sony's Game Pass is what PlayStation Now is.
Yeah, I hear that Game Pass is still a better value than PlayStation Now, but that's just sort of what I hear on the internet. I don't have an Xbox, so
there's a lot more games on Game Pass, and it has more, I guess, like, just because the backwards compatibility is so much better in general on Xbox. It's easier, you know, you can go back to original Xbox or 360 or whatever. PS Now is a handful of PS2 games, a decent number of PS4 games, and then the PS3 games are streaming only, so you can't even install them.
Yeah.
I'll go on a little bit of a tangent here. We talked about PlayStation Now and the Game Pass and whatever. I watched a video titled "You Don't Need a GPU to Play Games" by Linus Tech Tips. It's a really interesting video where he goes in depth testing out all the popular like streaming services for PC. Like GeForce Now, Google Stadia, and PlayStation Now. I think that's what it's called. It was very interesting seeing this, because PlayStation Now is not playable on PC. It doesn't work at all. They tried like for hours to get it to work, but it's just buggy and it's very unplayable. So that service, just to give you an idea, the interface where you choose what game you can play, it doesn't have a search function.
Yeah.
That's how good it is.
So Sony, I don't even know what to say. Their user interface is not good anymore. I like the interface on the PS4, but have you guys seen the PlayStation 5 menu? Like, that thing's garbage. You can't really. I mean, I know I think they just got an update, but they need to start adding some features that were standard on the PS4.
Like what?
Well, darn it, you put me on the spot, Steven. That's not cool.
Yeah, I don't have much of an issue with
trophies. Trophies, they're hard to find. You can't hide games anymore. It's hard to search for the game that you want.
Well, that's the point. Trophies are supposed to be hard to get,
but they're hard to get to. Yeah, they're hard to see. It's hard. There's no folders, so you can't sort your games. Every game that you've ever installed or bought or like downloaded are just in a giant
pile.
List,
it looks. Yeah, it's clunky.
I think they recently made it so that you can start hiding some of those, like some demos and stuff. But that's a recent development. It'll get better, but yeah, it's not very pretty. So I just imagine the PlayStation Now's interface is not very good either. Though they did improve their app recently, so it's easier to navigate the PlayStation Store more than ever.
Well, if we were 2 weeks ago, then I'd make a joke that the PlayStation Store on the PSP is very hard to navigate, as well as the Vita and PS3 because it's non-existent. But Sony, they actually backpedaled and they admitted that. Are you saying what I'm saying?
No.
Don't do that. It's annoying. But yeah, Sony was like, we saw the passion from the gamers, the epic gamers, and you know what? We're not canceling it for the Vita and PS3 for now. Enjoy it while it lasts. Oh, PSP though? Yeah, it's over. Goodbye. June 26th. Bye-bye. It's over. Which I can understand. PSP, it's already been hacked back to back, and like there's nothing. Why would you open the PlayStation Store on a PSP? Just download the ISO from. Well, I'm not going to name any websites.
I mean, the PS3 has been pretty thoroughly hacked as well.
Has it? There's still models of the PlayStation 3 that you can't hack, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah, that's true. I think every model can be hacked to some extent. I'm not fully up to date on if all of them can do everything, but I mean, I don't know. The fact that you can get ones that are hackable relatively easily is,
the thing that's really stopping me from hacking my PS3, for example, is that Nintendo, Sony is still banning people who have hacked PS3s. It's still something that they can detect and they're trying to ban for. So it's sort of like it's a risky thing. Whereas if you hack your PSP, I think you're fine.
Yeah, it's like the 3DS, really.
Oh, they don't even care anymore.
Because I heard there were developers for the Vita who are still developing games, and they were planning to release them. And then the news came out that, oh, no, the store's closing. Bye-bye. They're like, what the fuck?
It was horrible timing to announce that they were closing the stores in the first place, because you're trying to sell the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
There's two versions. One with a disc drive and one without a disc drive. And you're like, hey, guys, you should get the one without a disc drive because you could just, buy everything digitally.
Yeah.
And don't worry. Don't think about it. You'll buy everything digitally. And then simultaneously, they're closing the stores from just 2 generation cycles ago. It's like you realize how horrible that timing is. Like even if it is inevitable, because I think it is inevitable. Eventually, the PS3 store will close. Eventually, the Vita store will close. Eventually, the PS4 store will close. But don't do it right now when you're trying to get people to buy digital.
Yeah, I never even thought of that. That is such a bad message to send to your potential customers.
So have they said anything about how long they're going to keep it open, or are they just being...
I think it's a vague backpedal.
Definitely is. That's what they said. They said that, we saw all the passion from the epic gamers, and we're sorry. We're going to bring it back for all the 5 Vita gamers out there. I want to get a Vita.
I'm going to grab my Vita right now and show you guys just how much dust is on it. Hold on.
Yeah, you son of a bitch. I want a Vita so bad, but they're so goddamn expensive because it never goes down in price. It's never been down in price since launch day. Never. Like 3DS, you can get that for like $20, but you can't get a Vita for like $20. Oh my God. You monster.
Oh, wow.
I haven't touched this thing in a while.
Okay, for those of you who can't see this, and that's actually all of you, Eric Zander is showing us his PS Vita that's in the studio for some reason, and it is so dusty. There's at least half an inch of dust on top of the screen. Why did you keep it screen up? Oh my God, that is filthy. That is legitimately filthy. And the back is in dust as well somehow. How is that even possible? How do you get dust on the back? Wow. You monster. If I had that Vita, I'd treat it with love and care. That would be my prized possession. That would be like a family, what's it called? A family heirloom.
Heirloom.
Yeah. An heirloom.
Heirloom?
Heirloom. Yeah, that's what I meant. Sure.
Let me tell you the best part about it is I got this Vita. It was back when only certain firmwares could be hacked, and I got it for $50 from a member of GBAtemp, and then I immediately updated it. So because I didn't want a hacked one, I just wanted a Vita. So he sold me like an expensive Vita for $50, and then I immediately got rid of all possibility of pirating anything on it, just so that I could show you that I haven't used it at all. So
this is mean. Poor Alan John looks so upset.
Sorry.
I had a Vita and I spilled water on it, and it had this weird thing that I guess is, I found other people reporting it online, so I guess it's not unheard of, but it would work fine in the menus, but when you loaded up a game, all the buttons stopped working, which is like a very specific issue. So I wiped it, and then this was when the 2DS XL was coming out. So I brought it into GameStop, and they were running the trade where if you got if you traded in a Vita, you would get like half off a new 2DS XL.
You don't even get a 2DS XL; you get half off. Are you kidding me?
It was half off, and they loaded it up, and it worked fine in all the menus. And I was like, "Yeah, she's good, boys." And they took it, and
then they just resold it to somebody else,
to some poor sap.
Hey, it's refurbished, and
it 100% did not work at all.
So what Steven did is piracy IRL.
No, it's fraud. Don't overcharge me, Eric.
It's just fraud.
You're monsters. I hate both of you so much. So I heard the Vita is actually really good for Japanese games that never get localized. I heard they're really good for that, right? Because it's like region free and stuff.
Is the Vita actually region free? Oh yeah, the system itself is region free, but the profiles that you have on it are locked to certain regions.
So Eric, speaking of that, you're an attorney. Are you an ace attorney? And specifically, are you a great ace attorney? Sorry, I tried. Come on.
He booed himself.
And even more specifically, are you a Dai Gyakuten Saiban?
Yeah, are you a Dai Gyakuten Saiban, man?
I liked the first 3 Ace Attorney games. I liked the first 2 Ace. I liked the first Ace Attorney game, and then I played the other.
I like the first Ace Attorney case.
I liked the first Ace Attorney case, and then it got boring. No, I haven't played the. You
have no taste.
The great Ace Attorney Chronicles yet, because I don't care about that guy. I only care about my boy. My boy Ace is his name, I believe.
That's his name.
Ace with the mohawk, and that's not a mohawk. What is that thing called where your hair goes like it doesn't matter anyway. It's getting localized. That's cool.
That is cool.
You said it. We didn't even specify what we're talking about. We're talking about there are these Ace Attorney games made in Japan. I can't remember.
They're all made in Japan.
Oh, you got me there. Saga
Let me just say the legal system.
So there are these Mario games made in Japan. They're finally coming to the US.
They were made in like 2015, and it's basically like turn of the century British Ace Attorney, right? And they were never localized for some reason. They were like the only ones that didn't come over. And in the Capcom ransomware leak a few months ago, we found out that they were going to be coming here, but it's finally been officially confirmed. They're being released on July 27th for Switch, PC, and PS4.
That's actually really cool, honestly. Because Ace Attorney games have always had this issue where some games, for some reason, never get localized. That was an issue with Ace Attorney Investigations, Miles Morales. I think that's what it's called, the second game.
Yeah, it's weird that one never came over. There was one set in like ancient Japan that I can kind of understand why that one never came over, because apparently it gets like kind of into the nitty gritty with Japanese culture and it just wouldn't localize well.
Isn't this one?
No. This one is in England, I believe. It's like 19th or start of the 20th century. Because he's hanging out with not Sherlock Holmes, the legally distinct character Herlock Sholmes.
I don't know how the court system works over there or how it works in Japan, but I do know that it's not how it works in these video games.
What do you mean?
Well, the way that the court system works in Ace Attorney, and what I assume Great Ace Attorney and the other one, all of them, that's not how the courts work, people.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think anyone was looking to them as serious, like legal simulators.
They should. I want to cross-examine that parrot.
Did you know that the board game Operation isn't actually representative of real surgery?
I thought it was.
It's not. Nothing beeps if you touch the whatever. And also, Surgeon Simulator isn't like realistic at all. So what the How about you make a realistic medical game where the main hero has crippling depression and anxiety and then kills himself in the end and gets paid nothing? How about that? That's more realistic. Come on. Nintendo.
House, the show, the video game.
House was pretty realistic.
There you go.
Not really.
Scrubs was realistic, though.
No. You know what game was realistic? Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. That game really encapsulated what it felt to be like as a Star Wars character during the times of the Old Republic. Okay, this segue kind of works, I guess.
It's good enough.
Whatever. So Asperger Media is making a port or a remake of Knights of the Old Republic, the very popular BioWare Star Wars game that came out some time ago. This is coming from Jason Schreier, I think?
Yeah.
So Jason Schreier talked about the rumors of it happening, and I think somebody from Eurogamer, Tom Phillips, what an interesting name. Tom Phillips had this article that Aspire is developing it, and Aspire, I think, developed the mobile ports of Knights of the Old Republic to Android and iOS. I think I'm right about that.
Yep.
Yeah, and also they did a port of Star Wars Republic Commando to the Switch, which came out recently. Now, here's the thing. Here's what I've heard. What I've heard is that the Republic Commando port on Switch runs terribly. It runs sub 30 FPS. It's locked to 30, but it oftenly runs at sub 30, and it's got a lot of glitches and stuff. So that experience isn't like the optimal way to play Republic Commando, which is a shame because that game's really good. But if these are the guys who are making it, at first I was confused. I thought they were porting it like to newer consoles, just give it an HD upscale. But no, it seems that this is like a full-on like Final Fantasy VII type of remake going on, which is interesting, very interesting. And one more thing, and I don't know if this is confirmed. Well, none of this is really confirmed if you think about it. One thing I've heard is that they're going to be changing the lore of this game to make it fit into the new Star Wars canon, which, you know, I don't want to see that happen, to be honest.
It's kind of interesting because a lot of the old lore does still fit into this canon. I mean, the new Disney canon doesn't really delve too far into the past to have, you know what I mean? Like,
well,
but Disney may have plans for the future or an idea of where things are going, and the old version of Knights of the Old Republic could conflict with it, right?
I think Dark Bane, which is a real character, I didn't make that up. Dark Bane, who was a a Sith Lord during the...
You mean Darth Bane?
Darth Bane.
Yeah, it's Darth Bane.
I said Darth... Okay, you need to clean your ears, dude, because I said Darth.
Okay, replay the tapes. Rewind a couple seconds.
Also, I'm dyslexic, so are you trying to tell me that I have some issues that I can't talk? Okay, I'm sorry, I mispronounced a TH as a K. I'm sorry. Okay?
Okay.
Whatever.
All right. Fine.
And so Darth Bane was a character in the Knights of the Old Republic era, I think. He might have been in one of the games, maybe part 2 or part 1. I don't remember. It's been such a long time. And so he actually made like a small cameo in the Clone Wars series, which is part of the new canon. It was one of the later series, and he was portrayed as the samurai type of dude, like in ancient feudal Japan type of tunic, whatever, which wasn't how he looked like in those games. So even then, I don't know if Clone Wars is completely canon. I don't think
it is. People can wear different outfits. So it's like, even though you didn't see him in traditional Japanese garb, long before the Earth existed and Japan was a thing, that doesn't mean that he can't have worn that for his appearance. I think he was hanging out with Yoda or something, right? In the Clone Wars. Yeah, I say hanging out like they were buds and not like mortal enemies, but all of the Clone Wars is canon. Yeah,
and Rebels as well, and the new movies and a couple of comics. But I think they also introduced some concepts in the final movie, which I didn't watch because it was so bad. I don't want to ruin my experience of Star Wars. After The Last Jedi, I had no hopes whatsoever in the franchise.
Not even A New Hope?
All right, you deserve that one.
Thank you.
But yeah, so this, I don't know. I just want to play Knights of the Old Republic. I just want to play that game. I don't want to play a remake.
And so much of this is still up in the air because there have been reports of this going back, I think, to 2016. So it appears to be something that's been in turmoil for a little while. There have been a few reports of people saying, like, well, it's someone unexpected developing this that go back to last year. And then the reports of it being a remake rather than like just a remaster, and those things about changing bits of the canon come from a website called CineLinks, I guess, which is the only source I could find for that. And I mean, I don't know. I don't really know their history. I don't know their track record with reporting on rumors. So it's hard to say exactly how true any of this stuff is. I would say it's sure that something is happening with Knights of the Old Republic because other more credible sources have all confirmed it at the same time recently, but there's really not a lot of details we have about this right now. It could be anything from a port to a remaster to a full-on remake. And it would be interesting if it was a remake, because Asper Media haven't, as far as I know, straight up developed a game before. They've only ported.
It's very weird that they decided to give like this fan favorite game a lot of Star Wars gaming fans love, because it's one of the really good MMORPGs. I don't think it was an MMO. It was just like a massively RPG element type of game. But the thing is, why would they give it to that? Just give it to like Obsidian or BioWare or, I don't know, any other developer. But no, let's trust it to these guys, which is weird. And also, I want to, again, another tangent. There's also rumors circulating about a Metal Gear Solid remake happening. And just recently, I've seen some headlines saying, oh, David Hayter confirms Metal Gear Solid remake happening and stuff like that. I just want to maybe clarify some things to people who don't read past the headlines. What David Hayter said in that interview is that he heard the rumor from somebody in the industry. That's it. That's all he said. He didn't confirm. He just said, I've been heard. Okay, that's not a David Hayter voice at all.
I don't know who that was.
Well, yeah, I've been...
He's got a very iconic voice.
I've been hearing rumors, but recently I heard it from somebody who works in the industry, so who knows? No, nobody's making a Metal Gear Solid remake. Okay, maybe like the most likely thing that's going to happen from this is that we're going to get a Metal Gear collection, which we need. Because I want to play Metal Gear 4 and I don't want to buy a PS3 for it. please, let's get Metal Gear 4 on PC or Xbox, whatever. Let's do it. Let's get that working. But Metal Gear Solid Remake, no, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Did you guys hear that the Super Seducer creator is selling the Nintendo Switch
all right, bye
port as an
everybody.
NFT?
That's the end of the podcast. We love you. We're not talking
Whatever,
about
who
Super
cares?
Seducer anymore.
I already bought it. I already played it. It's great.
We're done. But the music's playing. You hear the do 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 or however it ends, and that's it. Okay, bye.